All right, sir. So please look at the meeting screen.
Okay.
We are going to analyze the games. So I started the game with e4. You played e5, knight f3, knight c6. Good. Bishop comes here, and you attack the bishop immediately with the a6 move. I took out the knight, and you take it back with the pawn, and I castle.
Yeah.
You played knight f6. Now I am attacking this pawn, and you are attacking this pawn. So if we analyze the position, it's +1 for me because I can just take it, and you went here. Now I can also play a move like d4, and my knight stays here. You can surely take the pawn here. So there's a very loud noise from your mic, I think. Okay. So, sir, I think your mic is making some noise.
No.
It's just,
1 second.
yes, sir. So right now my knight is attacking your pawn. That's a big threat because if you do not defend the pawn, I'm going to take it. So what is your plan to defend the pawn? You can do bishop here also, bishop d6, which defends the pawn, and it's good. But the defense is needed. We need to defend each and every pawn if we want to win the game. Because if we lose one pawn, we are going to lose another, then third, then pieces. Because as you lose the pawns, even one pawn, I will have an extra pawn. Once you lose two pawns, I will have two extra pawns. Once you lose a piece, I will have an extra piece. So what happens is that my army is getting stronger and your army is getting weaker. And once they are getting weaker, it will be very easy for me to attack them, and it will be very difficult for you to defend them because we want equal pieces. We need equal pieces for defense also, right, sir? So we need to defend the pawn. So before playing any move, you need to think about the plan to save the pawn. This pawn can be defended by the knight here or queen here. Both the moves work. Or when the time comes here like this, suppose the bishop comes here, I am already taking the pawn which is defended by the knight. So if you play this move, I can just take the knight, you take it back, and the defender is removed from the pawn. Right, sir? So we do not want that. We do not want to give our opponent a chance to take the pawn. So right now, instead of this move, you should just play this move, knight f6. Why? Because even if I take it, you take it back, and if I take the pawn, you can take the pawn here also, right? So the exchange will be equal. I take your pawn, you take my pawn. That's it. Now, if I try to attack your knight, you can just defend your knight with the queen d5 move. I play this, you can take my knight. I take your knight, queen takes, queen, pawn takes, and the game is equal. So we want to keep the game equal, and it is not too much complicated or difficult. We just want to defend the pieces and pawns. That's all. So in this position, you should have just played this, but you played this. Then I took it. You take it back, and I can now take the pawn. But theoretically, you can win it back. How? You can just play like here, attacking the knight and the pawn immediately. Now, if I try to defend the knight, you can just take the pawn. And if I try to defend the knight, you can just take the pawn, right? So in this position, I cannot take the pawn here. Because in this position, if I take the pawn, queen d5 will attack the pawn and the knight, and I can only save one piece at the moment in one move, right, sir? So if I take the knight, this queen d4 move will attack the knight and the pawn. And I can only save one thing. I can either save the pawn or either save the knight. No matter what piece or pawn I save, you are going to take the other one, right? So in this position, I cannot touch the pawn. I will just castle. Now, now you have to defend the pawn because it is attacked by the knight. Now there are three ways. You can put the bishop here to defend the pawn. You can put your queen here to defend the pawn. Or you can just spin the knight. Because now if I take the pawn, you can win my queen. Right, sir? So there are three ways to deal with the situation: bishop here, pinning, and the queen. So you played knight here, which allowed me to take the knight. And now d4 move does not work. Why? Because you cannot take the pawn. I will save my knight, and if you take the pawn, it's a blunder. Why? Because rook comes here and it will pin your queen against the king. Now you cannot move your queen. It's pinned. So you have to take my rook, which is only 5 points. And I will take your queen, which is 9 points. Getting it, sir? So after castle, my attack on the pawn becomes legit. Because now you cannot defend it. You have to defend it with some piece or pawn, not with this one. All right, let's move ahead. So you played this, I took it, and you attacked my knight. I went back. You went here, and it's good that you did not take the pawn, because if you take the pawn here, I can just pin your queen. So it's good you did not take the pawn, and you cannot also take with the knight, because again I can just pin your knight towards against the queen, right? Now you cannot move your knight also. If you move your knight, I will just take the queen. So after this, you played a good move, which is bishop here. But now I have time to just defend the pawn with this move. Now I defended the pawn. And now if you count the pawns, you have 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 pawns, you have 7 pawns. So your army is getting weaker because you have less pawns. You castled, and I pinned your knight. You played this move, and I took it, and you take it. The game is equal. Means you are down a pawn, but the exchanges here made are equal. Now I played the move knight here, but your queen is attacking the pawn here, right, sir? Your queen is attacking the pawn here. You can definitely take the pawn back. And if I play a move like this, you can take this pawn also. So you miss this move. Queen attacking the pawn. This was a threat. I did not save it. If I go here, then bishop would come here and the game would go on. So after this, now you took out the pawn with the rook. The pawn has a value of 1 point only because the pawn is very weak. But the rook has a value of 5 points because rook is very powerful. It can move horizontally and vertically. So rook has a value of 5 points. Right, sir? Rook has a value of 5 points. But if you take out a pawn and give up your rook, I take your rook, you are winning 1 point and I am winning 5 points. So if I subtract the loss of 1 point, I am still up 4 points, right, sir? So that was a bad exchange. We need to do equal exchange like rook takes rook, knight takes knight, bishop takes knight, because this exchange is equal. We lose 3 points, we get 3 points. Both sides lose the same amount of material, right? But when we do this kind of exchange, rook takes the pawn, it creates a huge imbalance. It is not a good exchange. It is just a losing exchange because we are losing the piece. We are losing our army. Now after this, if you count, you have only 1 rook. I have 2 rooks. So if I attack your king with 2 rooks, you only have 1 rook. How will he defend your king? It will not be possible to defend. So chess is not about checkmating the king because checkmates cannot happen on just 1 or 2 moves. First, pieces fight against each other. Because if I try to checkmate you, your pieces will come in defense. So chess is not about checkmate. Chess is about the fighting of the pieces. And if we lose or win the fight in the pieces war, that's what decides who will win the game by the check. Checkmate is just the result of the fight between the pieces. So this was not a good exchange. Bishop comes here. I played this. Bishop takes knight, knight takes knight. Equal exchange. Fine. Now bishop comes here. If bishop comes here attacking the rook, it's a good move. But it is purposeless because the rook can come here attacking the bishop and the bishop has to go back. Right. So it's kind of wasting move because bishop came here and went back. Instead, you should develop your rook in the center and try to create pressure because it activates your piece, right? But the problem right now is that black is down at too much material. Now, whatever you do, whatever move you make, it is going to be losing for black move by move because you will not be able to defend your soldiers because you have less pieces. If you had equal number of pieces, you could defend. But right now, every move for white will be attacking your pieces or exchanging them, and it will be losing. So now I just want to exchange the queens. Exchange and then takes. And in this position, always note down, sir, that the pawn covers this square and this square. When the rook comes here, it covers all the squares. So when the rook comes here, the king cannot stay on this file rank. The king can also not come here on these three squares. This is blocked by the own pawn. These two squares are blocked by the pawn. So this pattern or this formation is a checkmate. Yes. So you should have gone like here or here. So if you went here, then this is mate in two. This comes here and then this checkmate. And if you went here, check. But the king can then come here and the game will continue. But at least checkmate will be saved. All right, that's one thing. I am creating a new game, sir. Let's play. Your goal is not to win in chess, right? Your goal is not winning. Forget about winning. Your goal is to defend your pieces and do the equal exchange. And whenever you find an opportunity to take an extra piece or kill an extra pawn, you go ahead with it. Forget about the result. Result is not in your hand. It is not in your hand to win or lose a game, right, sir? But it is in your hand to try to defend the piece and try to remember the rules and try to follow the plan, the basic structure or the basic rules. I have shared the link in the chat box. Just don't worry about it. Think that you have already lost the game. Now you are just trying to find the best move. That's it.
Okay.
Please click on the link to start the game.
I didn't get the link.
I have sent in the chat box. Google meeting chat box.
One second. Okay, okay. Please send me 1 second, please.
Sure, sir.
I got it. Okay.
All right, sir. Please look at the meeting screen. You
Oh,
winning the game, but the thing is, this is called smothered mate. This checkmate is called smothered mate because the bishop is covering the squares here, right?
yeah.
So rook is spinning the pawn here. The pawn cannot move, cannot take, and the knight jumps here, takes the king in the corner. The king cannot move anywhere. The pawn cannot take because it is pinned by the rook. So this mating pattern is called smothered mate.
Okay.
So the thing is that you were totally winning here because you played a brilliant moves like this, and you went back. When the queen is here, this idea of sacrificing the queen and the knight goes here does not work because queen can take the knight. So I wanted to remove the queen from this square or this rank. So I sacrificed the rook, and you took it. Then I sacrificed my queen, and you took it. I take it back. Now, if you just knew this is modern mate pattern is forming, you would have gone just queen here, and you are totally winning the game. Now, if you go queen here, and if I do this, you can just take my knight.
Yeah,
So
I
basically,
understand.
rook sacrifice was a blunder, queen sacrifice was a blunder. It was all blunder. If you knew that this formation would result in a checkmate, smothered mate, because your game was completely brilliant and you played all the perfect moves. So the game started like this. All right, this move was not needed because we always want to castle on the king side. So right now you could play bishop here on c5. If I castle, you can also castle. That's how the game would go on. And there's a rule in the opening that do not move a piece twice. Right now we're in opening and you have already moved the knight. So you do not need to move it once more. Instead, you should develop other pieces like this. So knight move comes, I attack the knight, and now you can defend it by just going back. And you played a good move, c6, but it's not. But in terms of exchange, it's a good move. But in terms of opening, it's not good.
Okay.
Knight should have just gone back and be safe. But in terms of exchange, you get the idea that if I take the knight, you take my bishop, and the score is equal. It's perfectly good. But in terms of opening, the knight should just go back and bishop be developed and then castled. So takes. I saved my bishop. Now it's time for you to save your knight, but you went here, which is not a good move because pawn is attacking the knight. Pawn takes the knight, wins 3 points and loses only 1 point. Not a good exchange. You are only taking my pawn and the bishop is going back. So you should have saved the knight here. Knight could have gone here. But the knight goes here, my pawn can take it. You lost 3 points immediately. And I lost only 1 point. So in total, I am plus 2 points. So this was not good move. You should have just gone back. And after this mistake, all the moves were brilliant. I went back, you attack me here, takes, you pinned the pawn, good. I castle and you take it, then the knight goes here. And you defended the pawn chain, very nice. Knight goes here. You're attacking the queen, very nice. Queen goes here. Now instead of long castling, first you should try to go with the short castling. Because short side castling is safer. It's very safe. Because here all the files are open. This rook file can take advantage like what happened exactly. So castling in the it is like keeping the king in the open. My king is, look at my king. It's very safe in the corner, and this king is just open. Takes good move. Now the knight attacks it. Good move. Takes. It was a brilliant idea that I take it to take it back. Now I have two attacks, queen and the king, knight also. But I found the check. King goes here. Now I can save the knight. So again check. Now knight is saved. And now you saved your bishop. Good move. Now I've offered an exchange, and you could simply take it. You take the queen, I take the pawn, and then you can take the pawn also. Are you getting it, sir?
Yes, yes.
Queen, pawn takes queen, then bishop takes pawn. You are winning extra pawn here. So this was a blunder from my side. Okay, but you went here. Now it's a brilliant move that you say that attack on the queen is going on and I will attack your bishop. If you save your bishop, I will kill the queen. Nice move. So I had no option other than attacking your queen. So you went back. Very nice. Now the whole idea was for me that you take the bishop, I take it back. Then I want my knight here, and the bishop is already controlling the diagonal. I will just smothered mate. I just want to remove the queen. I remove the queen, which is a blunder because you have one move to save yourself. Knight goes back. You took the queen. Again a blunder by my side. And then if you just go here, you are completely winning because you have an extra queen and pieces. But you missed it out. You missed the smothered mate. But we will practice the smothered mates pattern in the next session. Checkmate
Okay,
and all the smothered mate and other different patterns of checkmates.
okay, okay.
But for the first class, it is a great improvement that at least you are now defending your pieces, exchanging the pieces equally, or even targeting other pieces. One thing that you need to pay attention that in opening you do not want to lose a piece like the knight. Save your pieces. Good exchange. Always save the knight. Always save the piece. Even do not lose single pawn. That's our motto. We do not want to win the game. We just want to keep our all the pawns and pieces alive till the end, and we will win the game eventually. Now this is a smothered mid checkmate. So it is not your fault because it's kind of a hard thing. It's a very hard thing to notice in such a position. But overall, you played brilliantly with only one mistake was the knight coming here. It was just only mistake. But we need to focus on such mistakes and stop doing it. The knight should have gone back or should have gone here. Second, first rule is that do not move a piece twice in the opening.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, sir. So it was the session for today. I
Thank
hope
you
you
very much.
liked it.
Yes, yes,
Until
yes. Absolutely.
yeah, until our next section, please remember the rules, follow the principles that we have discussed, and
Sure.
try to play on chess.com and create your account on this website also, leechess.org, and start playing 10 plus 5 or 10 plus 0 games over here. Play as many
Okay.
games as you can, try to increase your rating as much as you want. And in the next
Sure.
section, we will learn something more advanced, and your rating will just boost. It will not
Thank you.
be stuck. Yes. All right, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.